Welcome, everyone, to our deep dive into the remarkable world of Keanu Reeves, an actor whose career spans over 3 decades and who has become a cultural icon, celebrated not just for his on-screen presence but for his profound humanity and off-screen authenticity. I'm Emily, and today, we are going to explore the life, the myths, the movies, and the man behind some of the most iconic characters in modern cinema. Born in Beirut, Lebanon, on September 2, 1964, and raised with an interesting mix of English, Hawaiian, Chinese, and Portuguese heritage, Keanu Charles Reeves' life began as a tapestry of varied cultural influences. His name, Keanu, means cool breeze over the mountains in Hawaiian, and perhaps it was this breeze that carried him towards the world of acting. With a childhood that saw him move from Beirut to Sydney, then to New York, and finally to Toronto, the diverse background and early travels would play a role in shaping the person Keanu would become. Despite being dyslexic, Reeves was an adept hockey goalie during his school years, earning the nickname The Wall. One might say that his early experiences on the ice prepared him for the focus and reflexes he'd later need in his action-packed roles. But Keanu's true passion was acting, and it didn't take long for him to drop the hockey stick and pursue his dream on the stage and screen. It was the early 1980s when Keanu began his acting career, but his first significant wave of attention came with a string of films that made the most of his brooding charisma and natural talent. A series of roles showcased his range, from the troubled teen in River's Edge to the lovable Ted in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, which cemented his status as a cult favorite. The transition from a young actor of quirky roles to a leading man of action was marked by his performance in the adrenaline-fueled movie Point Break, where Reeves held his own opposite Patrick Swayze. But it was the bus that couldn't slow down in speed that transformed him into a bona fide action star. His portrayal of Officer Jack Traven displayed a blend of intensity and everyman appeal that would become a hallmark of his career. The world, however, would truly sit up and take notice when Reeves took on the role of Neo in the groundbreaking The Matrix series at the turn of the millennium. This franchise not only changed the landscape of science fiction and action genres with its revolutionary effects and philosophical undertones, but it also forever intertwined Keanu's persona with the enigmatic hacker-turned-savior. Yet, what truly endears Keanu Reeves to his audience is perhaps not just his vast filmography or the memorable characters he's portrayed. It's the paradoxical nature of his celebrity, his remarkable ability to remain an enigma while also being one of Hollywood's most accessible and relatable figures. The stories of his kindness, humility, and philanthropy are almost as famous as his films, with acts of generosity that have become the stuff of legend. Today, we're going to peel back the layers of the enigmatic figure that is Keanu Reeves. From his rise to fame to the moments that define him as an actor and a person, join me as we delve into the life of a man who has not only played heroes on the silver screen but also exhibited heroism in the way he conducts his life. Continuing from the introduction, let's turn the spotlight to Keanu Reeves' formative years and the inception of his journey in the acting world. Peering back into the past of Keanu Reeves, we find the origin story of a young man whose early life didn't quite hint at the future stardom that awaited him. Born to a showgirl and a geologist, Keanu's infancy was rocked by his father's departure when he was just 3 years old. His mother's subsequent marriages led to a succession of stepfathers, and with each new union came a move. First to Australia, then New York, and finally settling in Toronto. It was a childhood marked by change and movement, by the coming and going of father figures, and by a mosaic of influences that would later reflect in the roles he chose. Keanu attended 4 different high schools, including one for performing arts, but he never graduated, a testament, perhaps, to the nonconformity that would color his career. Despite the academic challenges, particularly with his dyslexia making traditional learning a struggle, Keanu was far from a passive player in the story of his life. He was a talented ice hockey goalkeeper at one of these schools, and had he not been smitten by the acting bug, he might have pursued a career in professional sports. It was the world of theater that ultimately captured Keanu's imagination. At 15, he played Mercutio in a school production of Romeo and Juliet, a role that sparked the flame of his passion for the stage. With his mind set on acting, he left high school without a diploma, choosing instead to hone his craft through local theater productions and television work. His early professional credits include correspondent work for the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, CBC, youth television program Going Great, giving him early exposure to the world of entertainment beyond the stage. The journey from the hockey rinks of Toronto to the big screen was not instantaneous. Keanu's first foray into film came with a short, One Step Away, in 1985, which was followed by a series of roles that were as diverse as they were challenging. He tackled everything from commercials to stage plays, building a foundation of varied experiences that would serve him well in Hollywood. In the late 1980s, Keanu started to gain traction with roles that showcased his innate ability to bring depth and sincerity to his characters. His breakout performance came with the film River's Edge in 1986. A dark tale that had him playing a teenager entangled in the aftermath of a classmate's murder. The movie became a critical hit, and Keanu's intense and heartfelt portrayal caught the eye of audiences and critics alike. Following this, the quirky time travel comedy Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure in 1989 offered a stark contrast and revealed his versatility as an actor. The film was a commercial success and would go on to become a beloved cult classic, further endearing Keanu to fans and opening the door to a range of future opportunities. It's this blend of early experiences, from the personal hardships to the diversity of his roles, that shaped Keanu into the actor we know. A mosaic of resilience, adaptability, and a quiet yet profound depth of character. And as his career was set to take off, Keanu Reeves, with his striking looks and unconventional acting style, was on the brink of becoming a Hollywood mainstay. Building on the mosaic of Keanu Reeves' early years, we find him at the precipice of a remarkable transformation. The end of the 1980s and the onset of the 1990s marked a pivotal chapter in Keanu's life, one that would elevate him from a promising actor to a bona fide star with an enduring presence in the film industry. As Keanu transitioned from the whimsical escapades of Bill and Ted to more nuanced roles, he displayed a chameleon-like ability to immerse himself into various personas. This versatility caught the eye of casting directors and filmmakers, who were eager to work with an actor who could bring a unique blend of earnestness and mystique to the big screen. The year 1991 was a cornerstone in Keanu's career with the release of Point Break, where he starred as Johnny Utah, an FBI agent who infiltrates a gang of surfing bank robbers. The role demanded a physicality and an on-screen intensity that Keanu provided with aplomb, performing many of his own stunts. And diving headfirst into the surfer culture the character inhabited. The film's blend of action, crime, and a philosophical undercurrent resonated with audiences, and Keanu's portrayal stood out as both authentic and compelling. However, it was in 1994 that Keanu's star truly soared with the release of Speed. As Officer Jack Traven, he presented a new archetype of action hero, one who was not just physically capable, but also sharp, determined, and relatable. Speed was a high-octane thriller that kept audiences on the edge of their seats, and Keanu's central performance was integral to its success. His chemistry with co-star Sandra Bullock was palpable, and the film grossed over $350 million worldwide, cementing Keanu's position as a bankable leading man in Hollywood. The impact of Speed was multifold. It wasn't just a box office hit, it was a cultural phenomenon. It showcased Keanu's ability to anchor a mainstream blockbuster, a talent that would soon open doors to more ambitious projects. His fame was rising, and the once undulating path of his career was now shooting upward with the force of a launched rocket. The mid-90s saw Keanu taking on a variety of roles that reflected both his range as an actor and his willingness to experiment. From the romantic lead in A Walk in the Clouds to the dark and brooding Hamlet on the Winnipeg stage, he was not content to be pigeonholed into any single genre. Each role seemed to be Keanu's method of exploring the human condition, an exploration he approached with an earnestness that was rare in Hollywood. It was this period of exploration that prepared Keanu for what was to come at the end of the decade. In 1999, he would take on a role that defined a generation, cemented his fame, and changed the landscape of action and science fiction films forever, Neo in The Matrix. His portrayal of the hacker-turned-savior was grounded in the same depth and introspection that had marked his best work, but this time it was fused with a physicality that was nothing short of revolutionary. Keanu's ascent to the pinnacle of Hollywood was not just about his ability to take on diverse roles. It was about the depth of his characters, the intensity of his performances, and the sheer dedication he brought to his craft. As the 20th century drew to a close, Keanu Reeves was not just a movie star,